Favorite one.
Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the Starladder I-League Chinese Division playoffs. Here in the lower bracket, we've got ourselves FTD.A versus DK.Y, one of the last remaining members of the DK squad. And yeah, looking forward to seeing Game 2 and how it shakes up. Right now, DK.Y are up 1-0 in this best-of-3 series. They looked really strong in Game 1, the way they were able to really spread the map, take advantage of this all sides of the equation, and really just gain momentum from about 8 or 9 minutes into the game. It feels like FTD.A need to find something more than just relying on a bunch of stun initiation to win the fights for them. They need to actually start waiting out their lanes and focusing on that a little bit more so. So we'll see the drafting shift and the metagame evolve in this best of 3 here, and hopefully we can see a push to a Game 3, but if DK.Y can take it 2-0, that'll be fine as well. It is pretty early for me, 3 a.m., so forgiving hopefully some of the technical issues for Game 1. Let's hop into Game 2, and I'd like to warmly welcome in my co-caster. While I'm Blaze, I am joined by somebody across the world. It is going to be Hades.Dota. How's it going, man?
It's all good. Thanks, Blaze. And alright, my name is Hades, guys, from Singapore. So it's actually around 3 p.m. It's like 4 p.m. here for me. And I hope that FTD, they'll draft slightly better this game. Because back in Game 1, the thing about FTD was they were doing this 5-man movement around the whole map, trying to get towers. But even then, as 5-man, they were just being delayed in getting these important T1 towers. It took like 2 minutes to take a tower, and they were just being held by a support and an offlaner. So I think they need to be more decisive besides the draft, and in terms of execution, they just need to decide, are we going to take the tower or not? Otherwise, do something else. Don't just waste time. So here we go, DK, first pick, Night Stalker. I really like this pick. It's something which I feel teams have been starting to learn how to use a bit more effectively, especially since this hero is very good for controlling the map once you get a quick gem.
Yeah, obviously he brings a lot in terms of vision control and just overall aggression. Either in the offlane or as a support, he's going to be kind of setting the tone for the game, setting tempo in particular. The problem with that is that first picking Night Stalker is actually going to be giving FTD.A a Tusk and a Doom. So while Night Stalker brings a lot of value, and I love him as a hero to put in even into Phase 1, it is going to be at a cost. Tusk and Doom are pretty easy heroes to execute with in terms of their mid-game, using their ultimates in particular. Obviously the Tusk, though, is going to be in kind of an awkward role here. If the Doom is taking the offlane, that is going to be Tusk as a support, and not every player is up to the challenge of that one. It's a great hero overall, but I would say that I could count on 2 hands at least the amount of players that I'm really confident running the support Tusk in an aggressive stance.
Team DK's turn to
Thing is, I think the support Tusk is not that bad. It allows some gank roam potential. I feel that Doom, yeah, this is a bit too early in the draft. He can play in the safe lane. It's nothing unheard of. And the good thing about it is that, you know, being so tanky in a solo lane, regardless, when you put him in safe lane, he's going to be fine by himself, which means that Tusk, he's going to have more freedom to rotate to the top lane, the middle lanes. And, I mean, yeah, we just have to see. But I like this DK Ancient Apparition pick, because so far teams have been very reliant on, like, the Dazzle, the fallback healing hero, or the Winter Wyvern, which has yet to be banned out, which is quite surprising, seeing as the Winter Wyvern is usually a priority pick of ban.
Yeah, and now we're going to be seeing a lot of the physical damage dealers coming out. I think this would mean that they're looking at maybe like something like an Ember Spirit. It's not great against Doom, but Ember's pretty good against Tusk in terms, especially when he gets level 6. And, you know, he's not going to be having to worry about the physical burst knocking him out, so they could really create the space they need for him. And we saw kind of the PL kind of follow that similar idea of like a hero that has to be very careful about his positioning, but has some great escape tools so that he can push and rat it out aggressively. So they'll ban out the PL, but I'd say Ember would be a pretty solid pick, though now we are facing Alchemist and adding more physical damage to the pool here for FTD.A. Really just going for the tier list here. They're saying, okay, Doom, top tier offlaner, Alchemist, top tier farming mid. What else can we check off the list here?
I'm still kind of stunned that he would pick an Alchemist into the Ancient Apparition, seeing as the Ice Blast can really screw around with team fights if it connects into the Alchemist. Actually, I think we have 2 top tier farmers in this game. I mean, Doom and Alchemist, both these heroes are very good at snowballing very hard in terms of farm rate. Alchemist, I I'm trying to think right now. What kind of game would this be? Would you go into like that solo crest, or would you go into the Radiance cancer build?
Radiant team pick.
I mean, we're gonna see the Radiance. I mean, I really do like to advocate for alternatives, but it just seems like the default mode for pubs and for anybody but the top tier like OG, you're gonna be seeing it Radiance 9 times out of 10. But we are gonna be seeing a hero combo that might prevent him from getting any items, as they have just so much kill potential here. We've got Io and Tiny. If they just pick up one good disable to initiate a fight with, I feel like DK have just completely outdrafted FTD Club A at this point. Like, you've got all the high tier heroes. You're like, yeah, Doom's so good. His Scorch Earth is amazing. Doom just wrecks heroes. But it's not really going to do too much against an Io lineup. First of all, I would consider Io a very strong, at least soft counter to Doom, in the fact that you can relocate away from Doom, you can heal through it, etc. And then now, like you said, they got the Ancient Apparition against the Alchemist. It just feels like DK already have all their counters in place. And along with that, now they're getting greedy. Doom, pretty farm dependent, likes to build up, obviously, his Devour at least, if not maybe a Hand of Midas. Alchemist really needs to build up stacks farm with Acid Spray and Grievous Greed to get up to real fighting potential. And then even Quap needs something in terms of momentum. So I feel like if they lose out the lanes, and they don't have a lane winner right now in terms of any of their picks, if they start losing out on lanes, they are going to be losing out heavily across the board with 3 underfarmed cores.
Team DK's turn to
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, Tiny IO is somewhat a very good counter to the Alchemist pick, because if Alchemist is going mid, it's unlikely that he's going to get much done, seeing as Tiny has the burst damage to actually take him out. So this is why FTD, you pick up the Queen of Pain, it's to compensate for the farming time going to be used on the Alchemist, and Queen of Pain it's already, she's already just a win. She's like a lane winner in general. So I think this is where they put the Queen of Pain mid instead and put the Alchemist into the safe lane.
Radiant team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can make that work. It's definitely not going to be as punishing in the mid lane.
I mean, at the same time, your Radiant Alchemist, you're gonna have access to the 3 camps in the jungle. So you get a couple of stacks in. I mean, even if you don't get the easy camp, you still get the medium and hard camps. That's going to be very, very effective when I like this Witch Doctor pick. I always fancy a Witch Doctor being used between the Tiny and the Io. So at least when they relocate in, it really screws around with the momentum.
Yeah. I feel like you can definitely mess up their fights, but one good disable is still going to be plenty. I feel like if you get somebody who can just set the fight up, Clockwork, Beastmaster, if they're running the support Night Stalker, well actually no, they're running the support Wisp, but it's gotta be offlane Night Stalker, and we're probably looking at
5 seconds
a Stunner safe laner, and obviously the Wraith King just got taken out, so I mean Sven's not bad, but also not ideal. What good disables can you get out of the safe lane position, or you just go and pick up a mid and put Tiny IO safe?
I would go with the Lion this game. Because if Alchemist does go for that Radiance, like you mentioned, 9 out of 10 is usually the Radiance build, the Lion is a good counter to the Manta style, just because of the Hex and the Mana Drain. You take out the illusions instantaneously, which is really good.
Yeah. But if IO and AA are the supports already, then you're looking for a core. You're looking for something more carry-oriented. I don't know. It's a little more difficult if we look at it that way.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to be restricted to it. You can always try something a bit fancy. Your Night Stalker could actually play in the carry position role. With the farm priority, DK can actually look to take objectives very easily and team fights as well. I mean, just having the Io for the sustain is pretty good. But alright, you go for the Clinks. That's actually really good against the Alchemist as well.
Yeah, some good potential here. So obviously a lot of burst physical damage. He can not necessarily set things up with disables, but what he can do is just scout things out. If he's going to be active on the map while Tiny IO farm, Clinks, when he hits his first key item timing, is going to be starting to put pressure out in the Radiant jungle. And if Witch Doctor or Tusk are too poor to really afford the Sentry Observer duos that they're looking for, then instead we're going to be seeing DK just start taking over both sides of the map, and whenever there's some exposure from FTD Club A that Clinks sees, then they can just punish that with the offensive Night Stalker movement, with the relocate aggression. It does feel like now FTD Club A's have stabilized a little bit, because if you compare their lane presence to DK's, it's only really the Tiny that brings the lane punishment, and he's going to be only in one lane. So overall, if the Queen of Pain plays safe, I don't feel like we're going to be seeing a massive disadvantage for FTD Club A, but they're going to have a really good answer for the mid game when DK start roaming into Radiant territory, and obviously when that relocate and the Night Stalker are in full effect.
It's not only that, because FTD, I mean, the draft feels kind of been around 5-man again, and DK, you know, the Bone Clink is actually a really good pick to how DK has been playing the past few games. Just by having the Clinks, you know, you can take towers way quicker than a PL. And you can, not only besides farming the enemy jungle, it's going to really mess things up for FTD. And like I said, they have to be decisive this game, otherwise they're just going to waste time, and you know, the towers are just going to disappear off the map. Tiny has good potential with taking towers as well in the toss. And I think their Night Stalker really complements the playstyle and the draft of how it usually works with DK right now.
Sure. And obviously it's going to be more and more difficult for Alchemist to really rely on stacks. I mean, he's going to be looking to build himself up. Grievel's Greed requires that you start stacking and building yourself up, killing a lot of creeps at once. And I just feel like it's going to be difficult for him if we just see the control coming in from Clinks from IO Tiny. I feel like DK have all the answers, but we're going to see a little bit of a change up here. XTT is going to be actually TPing down bottom and looking for a very interesting observer ward. Like, he's obviously scouting for the enemy's ward placement, but you might as well take advantage of this timing and get something a different ward out that they wouldn't normally expect, and they're going to go for the turtle ward. So they're going to have a reserved position early on. I look for maybe some rune control. And I think this first bounty rune could actually be extremely consequential as well. Of course, you got to note the Grievel's Greed for the Alchemist, as well as the Bottle Rush build for the IO. Both of them really depend on getting a bounty rune early.
And at level 1, I think DK can't really contest this unless they go 5-man into 1 rune. That's the only way they're going to secure the rune for the IO. Because currently, I mean, FTD, they have to better level 1 just by having, you know, the Witch Doctor out there, and if you have the Scorched Earth, but I think XTT probably doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, it looks like they're still looking to contest it. This could be very difficult indeed here. Night Stalker can kind of lead the front lines, but with only the Chilling Touch, the Searing Arrows, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Really need to focus down a target. They're scary in FTD.A though. We need some good ice shards. We need to see somebody isolated if they ever tiptoe to the high ground. But no, they're just going to snowball in, try to snatch the bounty rune. It is going to be, oh, nice little cask, but the Night Stalker and the Queen of Pain are the ones that claim the bounty rune. So, wow, it's not going to be the Night Stalker at all. Or, sorry, it's not going to be the Wisp at all. He's going to just get a chunk of that first blood gold, and that'll put him to the bottle anyways. So, they deny the Alchemist the rune. They get themselves first blood, and overall, FTD.A accomplished nothing. Now, in their early stage, Witch Doctor going to be trying to roam in and get involved here, 2v2, but as soon as Tiny hits level 2, you're going to be facing some real difficulty.
Well, I mean, it should be okay. It's very hard for the IO to tether and do anything here. They actually have a huge advantage over here thanks to the acid spray, and Witch Doctor, if he came in a bit earlier at the cask, they probably could have gotten a kill there, but I think, yeah, he was just very hesitant in going in. Yeah. Bottom lane, Queen of Pain is going to have quite a tough time actually against this Clinks, and with the AA, the Chilling Touch, plus the Searing Arrows. Oh, that's actually really, really strong. That's like 100 damage a hit.
Yeah, and once you get the strafe online, the Chilling Touch damage reduction is negligible with the attack speed reduction. IO is going to be eating a lot of damage here. One more hit after this one. Going to be needed, but the Witch Doctor can't get in range. So now Tiny puts out a nice little smack on Witch Doctor, but it is just going to be both of them walking away. There's no stuns back up in time. Could actually be Witch Doctor overextending a little bit. Oh no, Boboka jumping in the wrong way. He could have just walked away from that one. Tried to go for a Tether Blade that just ends up feeding a kill.
This ward, it's just this cliff ward over here on the high ground, it really made a difference. Well, on the bright side, I mean, Boboka is going to be back in. He needed a trip back anyways. He has
Oh, but he doesn't have overcharge. That's the only thing. Like, you can't full heal the Tiny without overcharge. You only get 1 free bottle sub.
That's true. That's really unfortunate. Top lane, I mean, XXS, we kind of neglected this lane a bit. He's actually winning the man fight here against letting go. So he has to be very careful, especially once it hits nighttime.
Yeah, and along with that, that means your Doom isn't in the offlane. He's just jungling. He's just pulling camps. He's playing a pseudo-support role, and yeah, he's just not really getting the full value here. He even goes for Alpha Wolf really early on, which is actually not something you want. Alpha Wolf is a much more mid to late game type creep. You want something like the Mud Golem, the Wild Wing Ripper, even a Shader Shockwave can be effective, but Like, you don't want the Alchemist at this stage. We're actually going to be seeing the combo come out here onto Beautiful Pain. Nice little cask, but it shouldn't be enough. As long as they don't get the perfect cask bounce, it should be the death of the Alchemist. But he gets his bottle in time, meaning Y-Chen may be going down here. It's going to be him getting bottled up. The last sip from Boboka. Both of them very low HP, but Alchemist stays on the lane. He'll get some healing out for the Courier. Oh no, he's just going to go for the Bottle Crow. I don't know what he's doing with the Captain Bamboo there, but it does mean the Alchemist is in some trouble as well.
Yeah, and this is really good from the IO Tiny. They have to play aggressive right now because it forces the Witch Doctor to stay in the lane. So that means that they're not really, there are no real stacks over here for the Alchemist. You can see it's 3 minutes in. It's just a double stack. And this way you're just depriving the Alchemist of that farm.
Yeah, but they have to focus on the lane more than the economy, right? Like, if they can't get out of this laning phase and get Alchemist level 6, then there's no value in those stacks because they'll just get stolen. So I think if Alchemist gets a better start, that's the higher priority. And they actually go for an interesting play there. They do haste out the Courier to get the bottle up for Alchemist before this 4-minute rune spawn. So while the IO went for the healing salve play, it looks like Alchemist is going to have the better advantage here in the lane until that 4-minute mark when IO TP is back to mid. It's actually Doom killing off the Night Stalker too. They go under tower here, just snowballing right on top of them with the Ice Shards and the Scorched Earth, and that's going to be a nice little kill with that Orb of Venom.
Very nice from XTT. So the Alpha was sort of paying off. He had one tiny crit, I believe. Yeah, caught that just in the nick of time. Alright, so Rune's going to go to both the bottle carriers in the mid lane.
Bounty Rune for Alp though. He's got to be happy about that.
Yeah. It's really, really OP. You got 500 instant gold from that.
Well, I think it's a little bit less for your subsequent bounty runes. The first one's 500 because it's 100 base. I think it's going to be more like 300 about this time, maybe 280.
Oh yeah, but I mean it's still quite a lot. I mean you could die and go back to the lane and you still earn from that. How's Queen of Pain doing? Level 4.
Night Stalker roaming in here. There's going to be a concoction involved here, but it's not going to be enough to get him out if they just get one more hit in. Nice movement there, just rotating the Night Stalker out of the ward vision just in time, and it's going to be a really deep snowball here. Toss him up, void him down, and that's going to be a second kill for DK Scuderia. XXS really wants some more. The void coming up in 2 seconds. Is he really diving this? He's got the tankiness he needs, and yeah, they'll just go 3v1 onto the Witch Doctor. Cast or not, they will get this kill, and Night Stalker will tank through it. So really, really great surge of momentum for Scuderia here, as XXS just does what Night Stalker does once the sun goes down.
That was really good. I mean, the shards, that was really unfortunate actually, but the overcharge making a huge difference for Chen. Otherwise, he would have died there. That extra bit of movement speed saved him. And I think XXS probably wants to get a kill here on the Queen of Pain. He has to silent, so they need to time this perfectly. Yep, they're gonna go.
Got most of it. One hit, yeah, that's all you need. Really, really good gank, actually. Like, that's a hard one to execute on, but they got exactly what they needed.
It's rare to see Night Stalkers, accomplish as much as XXS has, by the first night time. And he still has actually a good 2 minutes before day. So I think, yeah, they're just going to keep pressuring the Queen of Pain, who hasn't had a good lane at all. Very far behind in CS, actually in the bottom half.
Yeah, it's kind of since that day shift from the 4-minute nighttime to the 6-minute nighttime, that's when we saw Night Stalker really start emphasizing that second night in terms of ganking presence, and his first night kind of went by the wayside. Nobody really cared about that as much. Maybe you get one gank off, but not 2 or 3. But in this case, no, he's been very involved. And I love the way they rotated the lanes. The Ancient Apparition solos bottom, the Clink solos top, and so far it's worked out for them. You'd expect maybe Wrong to go down once to that, but they've so far been so fearsome with this Night Stalker that it's not going to happen.
That was close. And, yeah, he's definitely learned his lesson. He's staying closer and closer to the trees on the right now, because if he was any closer to the center of the lane, he would have died there. He would have been silenced and just dead. So Boboka gets an Invis rune. This is actually going to be really good. He stacks with a tiny... Actually, no stacks on him at all. He's not relying on that. His net worth... He's still behind the Alchemist, but then again, just an Alchemist doing his usual stuff. He's got a nice stack, and he's gone for treads actually. So this could be that Medallion Solar Crest. Usually if you go for the Radiant, you want to get the BOTs. You just get the ground boots, and then
Hard to say. We're going to see the jump here onto the Witch Doctor, and that's going to be a clean kill, but can they actually get out without, the Doom coming into play? He's just got the mana for it. He'll crit him down! Oh, Boboka will actually fall here, and he'll get the Doom on the Tiny, who will be caught by the Tusk spells. So that's going to be 2 more, and a great double concoction! The turnaround! We see now 3 kills, maybe a 4th going the way of FTD.A, as everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And DK Scenario bring the kill score from 2 to 6 against them. Oh my. Well, I think he's more confident to go for the Radiance now. The Treads I felt was just for the raw HP against the Avatos combo, and now he's got all the gold that he needs to move actually towards a great Radiance timing.
That's true. He earned like 1,500 gold swing from that. It was really big. And at the same time, it was just good estimation of XTT. He had the Doom, he didn't use it on the IO, he had faith in the Alpha with crit RNG right there,
Jeez.
And he saved it for White Chen. That was just really good.
How lucky can you get though? That is, I mean, obviously having the potential to crit is huge, but to just get it so reliably twice in that fight, just so huge. And we'll just see him go right up top. No armor, no cares. He'll just go right up against the Clinks here and at least stop the push while still building up his farm. It's important that the Doom and Alchemist are on opposite sides of the map for the most part. They can converge when their ultimate is up, the Doom, but overall you want the Devourer to be away from the Alchemist who's trying to AoE farm. And he goes to go for the Solar Crest. He's maxing Concoction and he's going for Solar Crest. And I love this. I love fighting Alchemist builds compared to farming ones, not just because of the action, but because I think it's actually much more reliable. But Doom up top should be going down. 1 Void is what they needed though, and they don't actually get it. The Night Stalker goes for the Silence instead. I don't know why, and now the AA gets popped off by the Tusk. They will turn around here for some good damage onto the Night Stalker, but in the meantime, QD is doomed, dusted, and killed. And Night Stalker falls with him. That's 3 for 1, and I really feel like the beginning of it all came down to the fact they didn't get that Void Slow, but obviously it was FTD.A that also rotated 2 heroes at the perfect time to turn that engagement around, and suddenly they're actually the leaders in this game.
That was really good timing. I like it as well. I mean, I have to point out that XTT, he's not gone for that super greedy farm build. He's not maxing the Devour, he actually maxed the Scorcher over. And his itemization is quite curious as well. It's interesting because he bought a Blade Mill, and you don't usually see that on Dooms.
I sometimes do. I never really feel confident in it, but if he's as involved and on the front line as he has been, then it still creates some value. You can still really get up in their face, and they really can't do too much to you. If they ever try to focus you down, you'll pop the Blade Mail. Scorched Earth and Blade Mail together means they're taking far more damage than you are, and it is generally going to be an easy way to make the difference.
And I mean, it helps also that Destiny, you actually waited earlier on the mid-fight, forgot to mention, is that they waited before killing off the AAA so that the Queen of Pain gets, kill gold, because she just had a very bad lane, and now she's catching up.
Yeah, I can't be sure if that's intentional or if they just thought they might need her for the fight, but that definitely is a lot of value created, that she can actually get momentum, find herself at level 8 here with Sonic Wave and Haste, and be another key player here, putting the Queen on the board, taking the pawns out in front. But yeah, still we're going to be seeing some good moves from DK. This is kind of what we saw in Game 1, is them, even when they were kind of in a contested position, they're still able to spread the map better. They've taken the entire Radiant jungle by storm. They've gotten a couple good wards out, and they're farming still really well, despite being under heavy pressure. But Tiny here in mid should be caught out.
IO, did he relocate? No, he's nowhere near. Yeah, he's just dead.
Oh,
He's
nice
not level 6
combo,
yet.
turning it around onto the Tusk. And QD on the back line. Witch Doctor goes down quick. Now it's going to be the Blade Mail popped off by XCT to try to reflect some of that damage, but still it's going to be a double kill for QD. Nice Sonic Wave coming through, but it doesn't look to be enough to kill anybody off. And that is going to be FTD.A losing 3 for 1, despite kind of a free pick at the beginning of it.
Just really good counter initiation from DK. And I just have to point out, I think there was a bit of misplay here in the Dire jungle. 2 Observer wards.
Sure.
Right next to each other.
Looks like they were, 2 different players around the same timing. So yeah, they were within 1 second of each other. So they just didn't know who was actually dropping that ward, and that does waste a little bit. I can't imagine the mind games though. If 1 sentry ward finds 1 ward observer and not the other, then you're like, this area is safe. We have swept the mines away, and yet they would have vision. That would be funny.
Still unlikely though. So Queen of Pain making her way slowly to the.
Yeah, we're gonna see the bot rune contested heavily. Alchemist will not only miss out on the battery room, but lose his life. The nice little ice blast and the jump. It looks like Witch Doctor down again. His 4th death of this game. Seems like he can't catch a break. And we're going to see a combo come onto QD. They'll dust him. He'll be tossed up, but he's not going down just yet. There's no Sonic Wave to finish him off. And so they're just trying everything they can to get on top of him, and yet he still runs. And now Y-Chen's going to be able to really control this fight if he looks to reinitiate. But it looks like without the Wisp, they're not confident. And obviously the Ice Blast isn't there. The dust probably wearing off pretty soon there, huh?
A Scorched Earth burn.
Ah, that sucks.
They're just burning him to death. That was so unfortunate. XTT kind of guessed where he was. Wow, this Klinks is really not having a good game. He's not having the impact he should be having. He hasn't gotten his Desolator yet.
Just it's so interesting that these fights usually start off with one hero getting picked off quickly, like in this case it was the Alchemist, and then the allies just are able to rally behind him and still end up turning it and getting the favorable trade overall. Obviously the cores are unhappy about it, but it's just making for a pretty even net worth distribution. I mean, we're seeing both teams back and forth, Radiant and Dire just pretty much even in overall net worth, and then the supports are getting a lot more farm than they normally would, meaning maybe we consider Wrong getting a Hand of Midas this game.
Wrong, Hand of Midas. Yeah, I mean that should be the case for him. He's almost in the recipe in like 250 gold. I actually have to commend that the Klink's net worth is almost as high as the Alchemist, considering an Alchemist is supposed to be a good 2,000 gold ahead. Should be, usually. And he's decided he needs the raw HP just against the Toss Avalanche combo. So it could be just like, your normal plain Ogre Club into the Solar Crest. Hopefully by then he can fight, but otherwise it's tough to itemate this game.
Yeah, I mean, SMY is still really solid for farming speed, but yeah, he is definitely kind of considering both avenues of thought. He's not just going completely hard into farming, he's not completely hard into fighting, but he has prioritized Concoction over Acid Spray until they're both until level 3 at least. And obviously the Treads and the Medallion, both of those are more combat oriented, so that's why the Klinks can keep up. And once he has the Desolator, maybe the Klinks can even farm faster. He's not that far behind right now.
Radiant structures are fortified.
He's going to pressure the top T1. This should be an easy tower.
Oh, Blink Dagger on Tiny. This should be a really nice jump here. Ice Blast on the Queen of Pain. Combo is not perfect, but it is sufficient. They'll relocate on top to be sure of it. But with a Queen of Pain kill, that's going to be not only the tier 1 up top claimed by QD, but most likely the tier 1 bottom falling to DK.Y as well.
Oh, and relocate back to the top. Alright, that's it.
Yeah.
So, yep, they're going to get themselves a T1 here in the bottom lane for sure. I mean, this is the good thing about having a dagger on the chin. On Tiny. Because now he can actually snipe off these really squishy heroes like the Alchemist and the Witch Doctor. Well, Alchemist not so much since he has like 1,200 HP now, but otherwise he should be fine. Nice, Stalker's going towards his own Midas as well. Oh, he actually just picked it up. This is fast.
The economy game is so interesting here, because you've got yourself, obviously we talked about the Devour and the Grievel's Greed being good effects to amplify or enhance the farm of FTD.A. Now they've got a Hand of Midas on Doom, countering out a Hand of Midas on Night Stalker. Overall, though, DK.Y have better control of the map, and are just finding more means of farming, as well as taking towers. So, in general, DK.Y are winning in net worth, but FTD.A have a lot of ways back into it. Oh, Destiny gets greedy for the last hit of the tower. That was a mistake.
That was unfortunate. I think they want to turn around and fight, try to get at least a consolation kill, but they're not going to get it. Oh, that's just really unfortunate. And I think he was feeling confident because he had the double damage rune. FTD, they smoked up. 3-event smoke. Maybe they'll find. Do they have detection? Yeah, they do on the Tusk. The Tusk is almost on his mech.
Yeah. It does force the Witch Doctor to go for this kind of full 5 position. Actually going to be trying to go on the Wisp. We can just tether away. The snowball's too deep. And now the Doom comes out on QD, who can pop... No, he can't pop the VG.P, of course. But he might be helped out by Bubblegum here in a second. If he just lives a little bit longer, 2 more seconds, the tether could come through. And Bottle Sips and Earn Charge as well as the Relocate keep the Klinks alive. Now XXS is going to be fighting on the front line until their return in 12 seconds. They've just got to keep the fight centered around this location, the bottom room. Wrong. Looking for the TP. Gonna be mini-stunned. And he will be falling. Can they pursue for one more, though? They get the silence here on Queen of Pain. And almost have enough to bring him down. Just need the 1 stun, and there it is. That's the kill. Oh, the toss. Oh, wow.
Wow. And I think they're gonna kill this. This should be 2 more heroes down. XTT is dead.
Yeah, they just have so much potential to run through with this darkness, and just taking advantage of that 50 seconds that will be timing out now, but they are able to pursue the Tier 2 tower in mid, diving as deep as possible to take that, and it really comes down to the Wisp just getting the tether off cooldown at just the right second.
That fight actually looked to be a disaster for DK, purely because of the initiation, but the Night Stalker actually had very good play. It wasn't that big, but he got the silence off on the Alchemist just before he got the full duration of the stun.
Ooh.
So that's why there was no concoction coming out. Really perfect timing. And of course, yeah, like you mentioned, the relocate. That was just really good counter initiation by DK. Oh, Rome just picked up his Midas.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice. I mean, they're going to just be playing a kind of a passive game during the daytime. They have no reason to go and do anything but just have one person farming. Clinks can go ahead and farm wherever he wants, but everybody else should just be in a reserve position. Taking advantage of the Midases, waiting out the daytime, as they are without darkness for another minute as well. So about 1910 they can get aggressive again, but for this full minute they're just focusing on themselves, building up their Aghanim Scepters, and just overall progressing to that next level. In the meantime, though, that's FTD.A's signal to try to go for something big. Is it going to be the Roshan, though? This doesn't really seem to be the best play, but the one that you don't expect is often... Oh, no, the Ice Blast ruins it. The Slam and the Ice Blast drops them down so quickly, and Tiny might just go for the Avatos here onto the Witch Doctor. Only catches the Tusk, but that's still going to be a free kill. Now, won't require relocate out as they are fleeing as fast as they can. And relocate forward is actually going to be on to a Beautiful Pain, who is now in some real trouble. Pops the BKB-TB. It's going to be a toss-up onto XXS to cancel it. Now, not only will Witch Doctor be going down, but Beautiful Pain going to be running for his life.
That was probably like the worst possible timing to have an Ice Blast just come into the pit if you were FTD.
Yeah, but I mean, it just comes down to a good map sense along with one good Observer Ward. This one Observer Ward gives them the knowledge that there's nobody moving into the western jungle, there's nobody farming it, and if they're off all the lanes and they're not moving into their jungle, they gotta at least suspect Roche, and Wrong just times the perfect, accidentally times the perfect Ice Blast.
And it hit 5, man, that was good. And Alchemist, I think if his Avalanche had gone a bit more to the left, he would have connected into 4 heroes at least. But nonetheless, they get a huge win, and he's halfway to his Ags, into now 1,500 more gold, and I think the Tiny is soon going to be snowballing out of control. He's 6, 2, and 9.
Yeah, I'm not sure the best way to bring it back for FTD.A. Obviously, they've kind of gotten a nice balance of fighting and farming. The mechanism will be great for Tusk, but this Alchemist BKB, they've got to do something good with it. They've got to find some forward momentum. The BKB duration is actually going to be really important as the game progresses because of Crag Exterior. Just the fact is that if the Alchemist wants to kill Tiny, as he most likely will, he needs to have that immunity. Even like going in Silver Edge is not always reliable. So he's probably going to be looking to assassinate the Wisp more often than not, but right now...
Silent stop. Oh, but the snowball saves it from the Sonic Wave, connects into 4 heroes. XTT taking a lot of damage, but looks like the relocate gonna expire. He's still alive. He's just not gonna die. And so Iron Night Stalker get a kill each. Letting go. Looks like he's gonna be stuck here. Oh, here comes the casket. Casket. Oh, Chen gonna get tossed onto the Witch Doctor. He will get just pummeled down. And XXS, Beautiful Pain wants a consolation kill. Pops the BKB. XXS trying to run. He's actually gonna get away. And Beautiful Pain caught in between a lot of heroes. He's gonna get tossed back to Cutie. Not ideal. He's run out of mana. He's gonna be kited around, but this Chemical Rage doing so much, and he will finally get brought down. It's gonna be a team wipe, a 5-for-1 trade.
Excellent. Just excellent. Actually, that was a 5-for-0 because the Wisp actually got denied by Clinks. He had a Shadow Strike on him, ticking down, and this just goes ahead. Clinks pops him one, and suddenly FTD.A get absolutely nothing out of those kills. Just losing on gold, no experience. Just a brutal fight for them. I mean, this is the timing where DK are just getting stronger and stronger. The Aghanims is up for the Tiny. It's going to be up soon for the Night Stalker, though he did segue into that Vladimir's offering.
Cool. That was just huge. Perfect time from DK. So now it looks like they've pretty much cemented their lead advantage. It's gone to past a 10,000 gold lead for them now. EXP past 12,000 as well.
It's actually interesting how early the Clinks went for the BKB over the Dezo. It obviously helped a lot, but you almost never see a build like that.
It's pretty much for the stun, I suppose, especially against the Alchemists. When you go for this, this medallion build, you so dependent on the stun for most of the damage. So the BKB is a really good option. But anyways, I mean, he's already got his Desolator and his BKB, and I think they want to fight again. Oh, that's big.
Beautiful jump there. The Doom's going to come out, but it's not even going to matter. Boba.K can just heal through all that with Bottle and Urn, and they're just going to keep doing their thing. But yeah, just getting... Oh, I didn't catch the Witch Doctor getting clinked on here, just right at the foot of his steps. Really just... I mean, at this point, they're just completely out-farmed. The net worth has just gone nuclear with 13,000 favoring DK Scuderia, the experience of 15k. And the biggest thing I have to say is, for the 5th time, this is a mech. He never found time to farm for himself. Only 41 last hits as an offlaner, and no mechanism for any of these fights. If they had just not gone into the dire jungle when they did up top, they might have had a mechanism for the relevant part of this game. But right now, they've just lost their entire mid lane, and they've got nothing in exchange.
I have to point out as well, because Destiny had a very poor lane, he's still nowhere close to an Orchid for at least another good 5 minutes to 8. And I think they want to find him in
It
the
looks
top
like he'll
lane.
get picked too. He won't see the Night Stalker until it's too late. Their silence comes out, the relocate, and the kill. That night vision, even without darkness, is going to be enough for XXX to kill him off. And suddenly, Aghanim Scepter for him. And Gem from the Wisp
crazy
to complement it.
Dire's top tower is under
You can see here in the KDA, I mean, Night Stalker 7-3 and 13. He's been involved in a lot of kills. FTD, I mean, I don't even know what you're going to do right now, because they're just so far behind. Your Night Stalker is more farm than your Alchemist and your Doom. And you're talking about 2 top-tier farming heroes.
Yeah, that is true. And along with that, like, now that there's a Night Stalker Aghanim Scepter, as long as Night Stalker is the one to scout things out and move on the front line, it means that there's really no key tool for FTD.A to engage. The only thing you can really get is a surprise blink initiation, and that's just not going to be an okay, goodbye Alchemist. Pops BKB, might be able to get the TP. He's trying to avoid any toss play, but I don't know. He's just taking too much physical damage. TP will come through, but that toss is going to be canceling it just in time. They do get the Doom on the target they want now. Boba.K is going to be taking low. Should be denied, I believe, but we'll see if he even drops low enough, as the overcharge is mitigating some of that. Now we see the Clinks going on the Tusk. Tusk's going to be dropping very low, but not without a fight. He's actually going to get tossed to his enemy, or his ally, and they're both going to be going down. So Boba.K lives throughout all that, and that's going to be it. GG is called. It's going to be a 2-0 for DK Scuderia, moving further into the lower bracket.
That was just really, really good play. DK, I mean, it seemed like FTD had a moment of hope there when they were coming back. They're getting their kills. But DK, with the Night Stalker doing so much, he had a very good gank in the first night time. I believe he got an assist and 2 kills in the first 6 minutes. And I mean, afterwards, it just snowballed out of control. If you're tiny, you can see it here, 11, 2, and 14. And your Clinks as well, he found many of openings. And it's just that, DK just didn't, FTD, they just didn't have the reliable stuns to lock down on the Clinks especially. So otherwise, I would say well played to DK. They just outdrafted FTD again.
Yep, really solid play coming in from DKS, not only the draft, but overall their execution. Boba.K, not the star player this time around. I would have to say XXS on the Night Stalker got involved there, but he got a really good safe lane 1v1 matchup, so no surprises as far as he's able to build momentum, but to that extent, props to him. Really, really solid. So, yeah, that's going to be DK being victorious, and it's going to be bringing us to our next match here in the Starladder I-League Chinese Division playoffs here for the 13th season. So we're going to be looking at the next match. As mentioned, that's going to be FTD.B versus CDEC.Y. CDEC.Y have been looking really strong, but FTD.B would probably be, in my mind, the strongest squad of the 3. There's A, B, and C for squads for FTD, and B is definitely the one that I like to watch the most. So seeing them going up against CDEC.Y, who obviously scurvy against CDEC and have been showing some really good potential recently, I'm excited for that match. I think it might be one of the better ones we're going to be seeing here in the playoff lower bracket. So we're going to be going into that in a little bit here. I believe we are decently ahead of schedule here, an hour and 15 minutes, but we'll talk to the admin, see if we can get that game here a little bit earlier than that, and going to enjoy some more Dota in the near future. But thanks once again for tuning in, guys. I myself am Blaze. If you enjoyed the commentary on my behalf, you can follow me at BlazeCasting, and once again, my wonderful co-caster, Hades. You can follow him at HadesDota. And we'll be going into the first game of the next best of 3 series, FTD.B versus CDEC.Y, as soon as possible. Stay tuned.
See you guys.